Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone? How is everyone? I am just doing the normal setting up stream stuff, making sure everyone knows. Hope everyone's having a great day. Hope everyone is having a great day. Yo, what's up, Lucas? Oh, another beautiful day, another beautiful day. I run two. Just two accounts. Just two accounts. How many accounts do you run? It used to be three. I used to run three accounts, but my mental health couldn't keep it up, so now I'm on to two. Ugh. Yeah, I have T10s, both accounts. I'm working on my second level of T10s right now. Hey, what's up, Jesus? Hey, what's up, Zeus? Lucas, I can feel that. The game really felt like a chore for me for a while too, and I almost quit. And then I let go of one of my accounts because I was like, I don't want to be doing this anymore, and it's helped me a lot. I'm not gonna lie. Being on one server, managing accounts that are like at the same place, right? Naya account has T10 shooters. My main UD has T10 carriers, and we're both working on guardians. You know, secondary combat's not done on this account, and zone fight's not done on this account, but we're basically like, you know, we're working on the same things, we're doing the same thing. It made life so much easier. My mental health has been able to improve significantly because of it. Hey, what's up, Sabiani? Sabiani? I try to say everyone's name Sabiani. It's not like chat's scrolling a million miles an hour, so I do my best to talk to everyone. I don't want anyone to feel left out. Do not want anyone to feel left out. You know, I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for the community, so I try to make sure I show that by talking to people. What do you mean, Lucas? Like, we talking LI fighting? Are we talking KE fighting? Are we talking traditional server to server fighting? Are we talking duels fighting? Like, I would love to answer your question, not trying to avoid it, but like, that question is so broad nowadays. All right, Lucas. So, Lost Island fighting, ungarrison. Ungarrison never. So if you're inside of a tower or you're in your own starting area, never buy back durability. Ungarrison. You should have a million resources, but if you are living off resources like day to day, don't have any resources available, heal with just batch operation, and you know, live or just teleport back. Now, if you're going into a tower, like if you're doing a tower fight and you guys lose the tower, there's a couple of different strategies like bubbling and staying there, like buying durability until you're bubbled, and then staying there to make it more difficult to build the tower faster. But for the most part, it's that. And then buying durability back is way more expensive than 2,700 diamonds to teleport. So you should always just buy teleports, and way easier to like manage. And then for healing, you should have on the alliance when you're fighting. So you should only heal in batches of 10 to 15 minutes. Depending on how down bad you are. That does take a lot of like paying attention and going into your hill and everything. But if everyone is active, people are doing their job right, people are clicking batch heal like as frequently as possible, then you should, you know, to get the alliance help in, then you should 100% be able to do it. And yeah, it should be easy. But typically in LI, because of the reasons I just stated, and most people do that, I would not recommend anthill fighting. Just doesn't seem worth it. Because people in garrison and you're wasting 5 stamina. Unless they're in the way of more alliance members moving closer to a tower or something like that. It's just a waste of 5 stamina for every hit. Or if you're bored, like if I'm about to get offline, and I won't be on for, I don't know, 5 hours, 8 hours, I'll dump the rest of my stamina into, you know, trying to port a useless hill or a hill that I don't like, and then I'll just get offline and it won't matter. But if I am trying to be like an active valued member, I would fight I'd fight the way I described. Okay, Giant Tooth Fragor Reap. That sounds like a formation, Pablo. Kind of confused. With fighting Trevor. Okay. This came from another major Ant Sims. This is better. Patrick, that's a point of perspective. I enjoy this game. Hey, what's up, Fran? Yeah, I have 2 videos on it. Like the first and third video I ever made. It's Bonnie. Let's choose this. I don't, Adam. I would expect you to, in all honesty, I would expect you to have convocations of servers or whatever it is. Cross server convocation, I think, CSC. And I would expect you to be able to convoke across before I would expect another migration. Migrations are basically dead nowadays. So, which is kind of sucks because like there's a lot of people that would really like to just migrate as an alliance and everything else that don't feel like they can, and they don't want to miss out on being with their alliance. So I hope they bring back my alliance migrations soon. Yeah, Lucas, like as long as you swim in your own zone, it doesn't matter about like how much you spend. Now, if you're, you know, free to play and you're upset you can't break into top 50, top 20, whatever it might be in your server against a bunch of, you know, light spenders, high spenders, whales, megalodons, krakens, whatever you want to call them, right? Then like people get frustrated with the game, but it's like that you're battling people that have spent money, even if they don't know how the game works. Even if you watch all of my strategy videos, it's impossible to keep up with those types of people. You know, you can watch my account, you know, I can't get into top 25 on the Naya Cupcake account because we don't spend a whole lot anymore. And so we don't have any of the pay to win ants, right? Like the last big spend on this account was Lathy Sniffer. We've never bought genetics, or Naya's never bought genetics, and I bought very limited amount of genetics on my S260 server. So it's like, it's really hard to like say that, you know, it's hard for free to play when it's usually because free to play players are trying to compete with people that spend thousands on the game a month, if not week. You know, I've had Patreons that I've built schedules for like $2,000 a week. So it's like, yeah. Cool, Pablo. Double CC has fallen out of the meadow, so that makes sense. No, Wise Berserker is great. That's awesome. Hey, what's up, Skye? All right, I got 9th chest. I got 500 activity points on this account, and I don't get to do Alliance Expedition because I'm gathering. So this account's done. Beautiful. All right. Yeah, Lucas. I gather because T10s are just so expensive. They're like so expensive to do. So the reason I hatch 3,000 of these a day instead of 2,000, which is what you would expect because of the daily tasks, is actually because I only hatch 2,000 of the carrier ants a day because they're T10 and they're way more expensive to do. And sometimes instead of colony leader, you'll get the, oh, I don't even remember what it's called. But you'll get the one where you have to hatch a number of troops, and the orange egg is hidden behind 8,000 troop hatches. And as you can see, because of my special ant developments, they both finish in under 8 hours, so I can get that daily without using any speed ups. So that's kind of my thought process there, if anyone was curious. If anyone was curious. I have a lot of resources. Not really, Patrick. I do not have, I fail in comparison to some of my likewise users. There are a lot of people that have a lot more than me. Hey, what's up, Jaden? No one's a noob. People are just learning. I have 4G sand, 6.3G wet soil, 186 mil fungus, 7.8G 7.8 G leaf, 31.4 mil water, and 16 G meat. Chicory Master, Jaden. I am a Chicory Master simp. 10 out of 10 times, 3 times on Sunday. I love Chicory Master. Is it the best ant in the game? No, not by far. Is it my favorite ant? Yes. Well, I guess not by far is the incorrect statement, but there are better ants that are carrier exclusive that I should be running if I wanted to be like the best player. But A, I don't have those because I don't spend that type of money. And B, it's just not my favorite. They're just not what I prefer. Perfect. I cannot wait to kill off all of these T9s. I'm gonna try and kill them all off this weekend during KE. All these T9 carriers. Jaden, Golden Crystal is really good, but like CP right now is looking pretty insane. Like there's a couple back and forth that would be interesting one way or another. Sorry about that. I got a phone call. I think that Golden Crystal is the best season in general. I think Wise Berserker and Leaf Devour are strong second. And I think NTA and like Gravedigger. Gravedigger? Is it Gravedigger? Yeah, Gravedigger are like strong thirds, but they're like support, right? Gravedigger's good, but great with Golden Crystal. NTA's okay, but great with Wise Berserker. Hello, Supremo. I'm sorry. I don't speak Brazilian, if that's how you say your name. Welcome back, Lucas. Patrick, farm level 13 hills that are dead, or if you're at war, do whatever. But if you look at your sentinel tree, you'll see at level 6, you can see the class of the enemy. So you can scout dead anthills, save them in your cords, right? In your cords right here. Up here. and you can save them, and you know, you can save them, and with that you can, words are getting really hard real quick, sorry. You can go back and farm them for resources, don't zero them out, and just hit herders, because they'll give you more resources each. So that's what I would do. That is what I would do. Hey Slim, what's up? For those that don't know, Slim is an OG Patreon, amazing man, great person to talk to about theory when he used to play. Glad to see him. I hope you're having a good college experience, Slim. I hope everything's going great. Thanks for stopping in, Slim. Very hard to get that ant, isn't it? Oh, get golden crystal? It's all RNG. My friend's like not free to play, but he doesn't buy a lot of eggs, and he has golden crystal 7-star, but his Chicory Master is 0-star, whereas my Chicory Master is 7-star. So like give and take, give and take. It's primo, that's fair. I've thought about trying Marvel Snap. I'm a little bit hesitant, but there have been a lot of people that have recommended that game to me. That's fair, Jaden. At least on the positive side, Leaf Devourer and Wise Berserker will help you on Panglion, and you can get Golden Crystal from normal pulls after your first Lost Island. Yes, there hasn't been any new ants that are free to play since Lost Island. All the new ants are pay to win, which I don't have any of them. Crimson Pearl's the newest, high DPS, universal, probably the best DPS in the game right now. MF is insane for carrier, MR insane for shooter, PN for guardian. They all do basically the same thing, but are for those troops. I'm gonna get roasted for that statement, but they're all really good. We can expect another carrier and guardian because Lathy Sniffer is out for shooters, and then for insects, the only new insect since you've joined, I believe, is Godzilla. It was a limited time event where they paired with some company to get Godzilla for 30 days or 60 days. The insect's not game changing. It doesn't, it gets outperformed by Hornet and Devil Flower for shooters. But it's cool. It works well with Nimble Tree Ant, but you have to have Nimble Tree Ant for this insect to mean anything. Blue Moon, it's situational, but probably something around like probably something around MR front. I believe it needs to, yeah, MR front, CP mid, no, CP back, RM awaken mid with 5-star. Prismatic, so there's mixed reviews on CP. Obviously, I don't have one myself. CP is definitely a PvE ant for sure, but some people are saying once it's started up to like 2 to 5-star, it outperforms LS. And LS is mainly a DPS ant, so there's like no real argument to have LS over CP. Thanks, Slim. Hit me up in the DMs if you ever want to talk, even just about life. It's good to hear from you. Yeah, Dustin, we're talking about in PvP though. For some reason, CP isn't outperforming LS in like some instances as a 0-star CP and 5-star LS. So I like mixed reviews on at the whale level, and I'm just going off battle reports, stats, everything else, right? I don't have my own CP and LS to test myself. I don't make that much money. I work a normal 9 to 5. I only spend what I get from YouTube and Patreon on this game a month. So and that's like not much. So I only have, you know, from other people and analyzing the data I'm sent. Prismatic Wasp. I don't know who told you Godzilla was better than Wasp, but Wasp is the best insect in the game. Like, for me, the tier list of insects is Wasp or Whip Scorpion. Not biased, like as a carrier main, not biased. Wasp or Whip Scorpion, depending on the situation. Whip Scorpion Poison is insane. Same reason Golden Crystal can compete with high DPS, high performers like that. And then Devil Flower, Emperor Scorpion, and I think it's the Iron. Yeah, Devil Flower, Scorpion, and Iron Beetle being in second. And then third, I'd put Godzilla and Stag Beetle. And then Godzilla, Stag Beetle, and Potato, like in order. That would be the three. If I could, again, don't have that much money. This event's way too RNG for me. Otherwise, I'd be getting a Wasp, because I think Wasp, or like, I don't think. All the data shows that Wasp is the best insect for PvE and PvP. I have not seen a single battle report to contradict that at all. I would love to see one if someone has one. The only battle reports I've seen where Wasp loses is if Wasp is in there with a Atlas and the other player has Wasp and Atlas, or Wasp and Atlas always loses if it's Wasp and Crab as the helper at that level. Like, the duo of Wasp and Crab is insane, but Wasp is just like, it's not a fair insect. It's an insane insect. Thanks, Supremo. That's no, Colin, I haven't gotten to battle reports. We've just been talking about insects and catching up with Slim. Slim's a good friend and an old Patreon that just stopped by. Prismatic Devil Flower is good. That's why I rank him tier 2. But Wasp is just better. And like, you didn't speculate wrong with Godzilla necessarily. It's the only insect that makes Godzilla like go from C tier to B tier, or maybe, you know, maybe like in between B and A tier, like A minus tier or something, is Nimble Treant. And you need Nimble Treant to be like 2-star at minimum. You know, the more stars the better. Like, it's not fair. It's not like a easy conversation. So maybe if there's more insects that release that activate normal attacks more and then Nimble Tree or Godzilla becomes better, you know, you only had the one chance to pick it up, or two events, but like the one iteration to pick it up. So if you're a high pay to win, which it seems you are, I don't think picking up Godzilla was a mistake. I just think that in the current meta, it is not as good as other insects. Yeah, Prismatic, that's basically backwards. That is basically backwards, Prismatic. That's okay. Hey, that's okay. You're learning, you're living, like another day, another dollar. Not that big of a deal. You'll get there over time, or you'll get there in a weekend, whatever your budget and your impulse tells you to do. Blue Moon 5-star Awaken RM is nuts. I'm not telling you not to go farther, especially if you can 8-star your RM, but I wouldn't go farther than 6-star until you can 8-star your RM. And a 5-star Reapmaster Awaken, like, top players are typically playing with, like, depending on the ants and their troop types, right? There's a lot of GT 5-star Awaken Green, RM 5-star Purple Awaken, and CP or LS. Especially now that CP has been out twice, I expect to see a lot more CP over LS. Yeah, that's fair, Blue Moon. Jesus, I have no idea. What do I think they should do, and what is their next move? No idea. Egg moves. It's not that Guardians are that bad. It's that one, the Evo to get T9 Guardians, which I can't show you because I have a max. Evo to get T9 Guardians is locked behind having all 4 marches maxed, which maybe isn't necessarily what you want to do before you get your T9s. And I have not, Shane. I'm gonna do that next. In order to be like a good guard, like carriers have golden crystals, shooter ants have Reap Master, carriers have Chicory Master, shooter ants have, I don't know, like carriers have golden crystal, Chicory Master, shooters have Reap Master, like that are like good ants off the top of my dome that are like not pay to win. They're all free to play. Whereas Guardians have like Leaf Devour, which requires you to have been to LI and is only one good ant and only range. There's no like, there's not something that like stands out significantly to me. And Guardians, to be like at a competitive edge in the end, you have to be extreme pay to win. You have to have all of the Guardian ants. You have to have all of the things. You need to get Parada's Awaken, which has already come out. Things like that. No, well, okay. If you have both a Atlas Beetle level 9 and a Giant Mantis level 9, I would not 10-star it. I would leave them both at 9-star and work on a 3rd orange insect. Personally, I believe that you should have 4 9-star insects before you worry about the next star, which people can agree or disagree with me. But beyond that, irregardless, all right, sorry. Irregardless of whether or not you agree or disagree with me. Panglion gives stats and boosts and stuff like that based off of placement and stuff. So having a 9-star Atlas Beetle that you can invest your talents into and be able to use all 3 troop types and boost them all like that is way better, because then you get more soldier reforms. I'm not saying you're going to get as much as pay to win players, right? Because you're not going to get as high as placement, but you'll get more than the average free to play player that only has a 9-star Mantis and ends up having to use a Grapevine or, you know, something else for Panglion. So in my personal opinion, Atlas. I don't disagree, Prismatic. Yes, Egmo. Uh, uh, Guardians don't have a lot without pay to win, which I mean, my Patreons are pay to win players, most of them, and I do have, you know, a set number of players that DM me that I try to help. Sometimes I don't get there in time and they do something that they either regret or are really happy with. But those people aren't, you know, 90% of my audience. So enforcing or encouraging pay to win ants and pay to win stuff, it's really hard for me to do and like have good conscience on. Prismatic T9 Guardians with Parada over an MR. I mean, you could even run MR front with Wasp. Yeah, Colin, I agree. Parada and Wasp at T9 Guardians, T10 shooters should be totally fine. But I mean, if you're really that torn, MR with in front with Wasp. Key takeaway, MR. Or key takeaway, Hornet. Alright, so I do want to cover battle reports. It's something I tried to cover last time, but I didn't have any questions come up. I got sent a super nice mail about questions for battle reports by someone. I don't want to name them in case they don't want to be named, but I got sent a really nice mail by them, or a really nice like information from them. And so we're going to try and cover these points to the best of my abilities. And move on. All right, so 1, is there a specific thing to look at to see why you won or lost, aka what to work on to be a specific opponent? So there's a couple of things that I look at when I'm trying to figure out why I won or lost. So if we look at a battle report here, I lost this one. First off, Giant Tooth Awaken, Reap Master, Double Awaken versus only a Shikari Master invested Awaken. Maybe part of why I lost. They're double DPS just like me. Their unit is more invested, so those are things that you can look at. But you can also see this battle lasted 8 rounds, right? 8 rounds in total, which is max number of battles. So you know which ants have 16 abilities, 12, or 20, based off of, you know, whether they're passive, active, preparation, things like that. And you can kind of see, right? My Ghost Ant only had 2 skill activations. My Golden Crystal only had 8. My Shikari Master only had 5. So very little skill activations, because honestly, Giant Tooth Awakened is insane, even at green level 1. And if we look at stats, I have a feeling his stats outdo mine, so he was able to kill my Ghost Ant really fast, and therefore, because my Ghost Ant was dead, his Giant Tooth just overcame everything. He does only have a 9-star Atlas Beetle, so maybe his stats aren't too crazy, but yeah. Charge, shooter. Huh. All right, so then if we look at stats, right? Yeah, his stats aren't insane. So I more than likely lost because his giant tooth popped off. Based off of the number, so the first thing that I looked at, based off of his stats, they're not insane, they're not mind-boggling, right? His attack's a little bit higher, but like pretty much on par for course. But I'm using Whip Scorpion, which is not Emperor Scorpion, and I am using a Ghost Ant. I have heard people, there's someone in my Discord that looks at, or that has been very, let me see if I can get his name, very adamant about using Golden Crystal in the front and Ghost Ant second. Stilgar is like super hard on Golden Crystal being in the front, Ghost Ant being second row, probably for this exact reason. So that's basically what happened. I assume, based off of looking at this, right, my Ghost Ant like almost instantly died. My Golden Crystal got poison off before Ghost Ant died and did a little bit of damage, right? 8 skill activations. But my Shikari Master was probably targeted by the silences from Giant Tooth for almost all of it. There's only 5 skill activations. Brian, I don't know. Fox Knight shows up when he wants to show up. I don't have much more info than that. He is here sometimes. Yeah, Colin, 2-star RM, 2-star RM, and or 2 level 2 awakening RM and Giant Tooth versus just my GHA, which was in the front row. More than likely the reason I lost. Again, Stilgar is like pretty heavy on Golden Crystal being front row and Ghost Ant being second, because it allows Ghost Ant to live longer for the suppression reduction, and Golden Crystal doesn't need as many troops because damage is calculated based off of troop cost, or like how many troops you have. That's part of the damage calculation. But Golden Crystal does poison, like that's where most of their damage comes from. And poison is an ability that deals damage over time. It doesn't care about how many troops you have in it. So honestly, I'm probably just gonna, you know, pop in here real quick and go ahead. Oh, I'm using Crimson Fragor right now. Interesting. I didn't realize I did that. Excuse me. Probably just go like that. Now, if I had Emperor helping, I might not even run Ghost Ant, but I don't have Emperor helping. I don't have that much money. But you work with what you got. Hey, what's up, Chris? Oh, Lucas, it's been there. That was the title when I released it. I don't really want to just sit here and stare at a screen, so I might play Minecraft while we talk. No offense to anyone that wants to talk to me. I just might play Minecraft while we talk and answer questions because I like playing Minecraft, and I do want to do different variety on streams. You know, I really enjoy this game right now. It's a lot of fun, but there have been times where I've thought about quitting, and I know that a lot of my friends have quit. So if this game ever dies off, I want to make sure that I have something else to stream. I like it a lot. I like streaming a lot. Thanks, Brian. All right, next question. Sorry. You cannot tell what happened each round. If one of your ants doesn't use a lot of skills, can you tell why by looking at battle report? You can deduce why by looking at a battle report. You can deduce based off of the number of ant kills that it's done, right? So you can see like what the ant kills are on whether or not they were like and based off of the stats, whether or not they died probably in the first couple of rounds, or if like their skill preps didn't come off. And then also based off of what your opponent has, in this case Giant Tooth and Reapmaster. Combat speed comes into play. So the way a round works is, if we look at this battle report, one round is, okay, this is, let's say this isn't duels, because combat speed does not apply in duels. But let's say this is a regular battle, you know, in LI or in KE or in the mines, right? The way a round works is Golden Crystal and Giant Tooth walk up to the line to see who shoots first. The person with the highest combat speed shoots first. Then the other person gets to shoot no matter what. Then Lathy Sniffer and, or is that Crimson Frigger? Yeah, Lathy Sniffer and Ghost Ant pull up to the line. See who shoots first. Same thing happens. Then Reapmaster, Shikari Master pull up to the line. See who shoots first. Same thing happens. So after all 6 special ants have gone, that's one round. Then we move to the next. That's part of the reason why we really try to talk about having a march where you're focusing a lot on the front line, because then if, like, let's say they remove my Golden Crystal, Giant Tooth walks up to the front line and goes against Ghost Ant, but Ghost Ant doesn't get to shoot back. Then Lathy Sniffer and Ghost Ant walk up to the front line, and then Lathy Sniffer and Ghost Ant shoot at each other. So that's why it's that's why we try to target the front row, kill them, because all Soldier Ant attacks deal damage to the front row before, or the front row of the thing. The only thing that can hit like mid or back row is the special ants with range. Troop kills is the number of so here skill kills is the special ant, how many troops the special ant kills. Troop kills is the number of ants the troop killed. So your tier 9, tier 10 SXI dual troops kill. Troops only affect front row. Doesn't matter what type they are, guard, shooter, carrier, doesn't matter. It doesn't make any sense why they're labeled that thing, doesn't matter. They only hit the front row. The only thing, again, like I just said, that hits the, you know, has a chance of hitting the back row, whatever, is the special ants. And then it's important to remember that the battlefield starts at their feet. So, right, if you look at Golden Crystal, range of 5, it starts here, right? It starts here and goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Golden Crystal could hit all of them, right? Whereas, so that's why like range of 2 in the mid, 1, 2 has to hit the back or the front row because it can't hit its own troops. So it kind of forces that range RNG to focus on the front line that all the troops are killing in addition, which is why you'll see a lot of people play range 2 only special ants in the mid row. It's a little bit different now with higher pay to win ants, that theory isn't like falling into place as much. That's because the ants that do it are such high DPS or have such control that those abilities outweigh focusing on the front line. But for like a free-to-play light spender that's not buying all these pay-to-win ants, that's basically the theory, the thought process or theory you should be going after. Okay. What is the best way to test a specific ants or a mix of ants? So the best way to test a specific ant, if it's universal or guardian, is with guards. So you can see the damage. You can try and calculate the damage without any crits. Because special ants or guards like have almost no crits. And then the next best way, and then it should be against like a lizard, or back in the day when you didn't have limitation on groundhogs, against groundhog, things that don't fight back. So you're seeing 100% of the special ants capabilities with 100% of your troops available, right? You don't want to try and calculate or understand a troop when they have slightly injured, severely injured troops, right? Like, that would be bad, right? So yeah, and then troop kills is yours, but the slightly injured and severely injured, or troop kills is how many you killed on your opponents. The slightly injured and severely injured is your own. That's kind of interesting that they move back and forth. But troop kills and deaths are your opponents, and then slightly injured, severely injured, and survive are yours. Alright, so that's normally how I test a special ant. If it's universal or guardian. If it is so like lizards, groundhog used to be the best before they changed the way you could hit. Groundhog was like the best test subject matter. Ganglion's like good-ish. You have to calculate for crit 1.5 2.0 multiplier on it, so but you can get like a general feel. You can see the skills, you can see the damage it's doing, and if you can do that like 10 to 15 times, especially against like lizards, that's where you start to get rid of the crit, is when you can do more and more hits with it. I really don't enjoy testing more than one special ant at a time. So the way that I prefer to test special ants, if like now that we can't do it against groundhog and we have to do it against lizards, is you have, you don't want to lose the lizard hit, waste 20 stamina. So you load into the battle with your one ant that you want to test, and you want to load in, your other teammates ants in another test, or in the back, so you win, but you hit first, so you'll get to experience all the data before they impact your troops. And then you want to do that. I prefer to do it at least 50 times. It's a lot of stamina, it takes time, I know that. That's 5 days. If you're only doing 10 lizards a day, I get it, but I prefer to do it 50 times, which unfortunately means I need a whale or a Cracklin, or whatever, Megalodon, whatever you want to call them. I need a whale to buy the special ant, max the special ant, and over the 5 days of the event that the new special ant was released, test 10 times each day to get data, to put it out, to average it out, to figure it all out in order to understand the quality of the special ant. And then I have to theorize based off of the build of the abilities of the special ant, how they'll work in PvP based off of current meta, if the meta is game changing, and the insects available out there. Because some special ants like NTA and Godzilla, NTA isn't necessarily great, but he's okay with Wise Berserker and stuff like that. But that's how you get like a DPS. The way I described is how you get like a DPS check, and then you have to understand meta and the abilities that it brings along in order to combine it all together to like get the full answer. I know that's clear as mud. I'm sorry it's not like the most perfect way of explaining it to you, but that's why. And that's why when a special ant first comes out, I state a speculation and not an exact answer, because I don't have enough data. And then like on day two, the second day of the event, I typically come out with a firmer opinion. But it's hard because they're not in all the battles yet, right? They're not in 3v3 duels, KE, whatever, because it hasn't happened, or just because a whale that's willing to max it out, miss out on the CAs, miss out on the special ant day, etc., to do DPS checks for me, doesn't necessarily mean that they're going against opponents that are willing to do that. So it usually takes about 2 weeks for my theories to either become reality, 90% of the time they become reality, or 10% of the time they blow up in my face, and you know, my speculation is bad, or people like get mad at me. But like, I want to put out my opinion as best as possible, because I know there are dolphins out there that are doing their best to pick up what they think is efficient based off of my opinion. All right, sorry, long ramble. Hopefully that answered the question. What is a baseline amount of to be a good stat for each ant type, aka shooter health minimum to shoot for, most important type for each ant type? Okay, so if you would have asked me this a million years ago, I would have told you, or like a month ago, I would have told you that you should be shooting for attack and health to be minimum, like to be even ish on investments based off of genetics and everything, and then your defense should be like back row, and then you know, you should prioritize leveling up attack versus HP based off of if you care about PvE or PvP. But if you look at my announcements and you scroll up in here, one sec, in here you can see the soldier ant's attack is based off of the number of damage you can do. Okay, that makes sense. The higher the enemy's defense, the less damage that can be done, so it's a mitigation. Health is the foundation of the soldier's survival. Some skill damage or effects of special ants may sometimes change according to their attack and defense. So, based off of this, and this is a response from a fairy to a high pay-to-win player, based off of this, defense becomes important, more important than I've previously placed it. And again, I posted this in my Discord and announcements on the 7th of January. Based off of this, defense becomes more relevant, and you want to keep defense probably like 50%, like as a shooter main, right? Probably like 50% to 75% under your attack. And then as for HP, you should be aiming for HP of shooters. Like, the breakpoints that used to exist don't exist nowadays. So, and the PvP that you're doing doesn't exist the way that you want it to, because 3v3 removes all those stats, and everyone's using the same soldier types, and attacking and defending doesn't work the same way in duels as it does in doesn't work the same way as duels as it does in regular combat. And then in regular combat, you now have Lost Island buffs, so it's hard to have like a solid baseline of genetics now that all these new PvP forms have formed. But the break line used to be for like shooters, you're aiming for like 700 attack, 400 or 300 HP, and 400 defense as like a dolphin medium player. And then like whales should go over and over. But I think the easiest way to break it down now is you should have, you know, you have your like, you should look at your genetics themselves, don't look at your baseline stats, look at the genetics or whatever, right? And you should be looking at attack being, you know, 10, your HP being at 5, right? And then your defense being somewhere in the middle, like 7 or 8, or your attack being at 10, your HP being at 4, and your defense being at like 7.5 should be like your goal of priorities. Unless you're PvP focused, then your HP should be at like a 6, your defense should be at like a 7, maybe an 8, and your attack should be at a 10. So it's hopefully that helps. It's not as simple as it used to be, because there's a billion different buffs. 3v3 or Duel of the X has ruined PvP strategy theorizing. In general, it's impossible to come up with a good theory because combat speed's irrelevant. And then Lost Island impacts stats a million different ways. So that's how I look at genetics nowadays, is like 10, 5, and then like 7 or 8. And again, like if you're 100% PvE, you'll never do PvP, you don't care, like you're a hard person against that, okay, then 10 attack, 0 for everything else. Why are you talking to me? You only care about PvE, they don't fight back, only focus on attack. If you only care about defending and you're a guard main and you never want to pay for ants and you only care about defense and HP, then you have your answer. Your defense should be 10, your HP should be 5, and 0 attack. Don't recommend that, but you know. But for like a general player that is trying to do PvP and PvE, I still believe attack should be at the #1 priority. But instead of defense being like a 2 or a 3, it should be a 7 or an 8. And then HP should be, depending on if you care about PvE or PvP, a 4 or 6. So average it out to 5. For like where you should invest into your next stat at. Yeah, I agree, Shane. Okay. Sorry. I'm going on a ramble on each of these, and I apologize for that. It's just me trying to cover all my bases. Sorry. I just don't want to say something wrong, get it misconstrued, or... Yeah, my bad. I need to get 500 activity points real quick. I didn't realize what time it was. Give me a couple of minutes and I'll go back to answering the battle report questions, and I will do my best. All right, actually, that's all I care about. This is not how you should be doing duels, by the way. You should be looking at your opponent's formations by pressing this little button right here, seeing what they have, adjusting your formations accordingly. Don't do it this way. I'm just lazy and in a rush, so like not the right way to do it at all. Don't like say UD doesn't recommend doing this thing. Duels are not fun to me because it removes combat speed, and I hate that it removes like a significant amount of mechanic in the game, because I think combat speed is like a very important factor in the game, and duels just says nah, no combat speed, offense and defense only matter. Like it frustrates me a lot to remove something that people spend a lot of money for just because, right? Like it means that that stat isn't very good in tree evolution for insect talents, which is part of the issue that I'm struggling with when I'm recommending tree stats or insect talent trees. That's what I'm going through right now. I'm probably going to come out with like 3 different trees with like an asterisk PvE, PvP balance, and then an asterisk that if you care about duels, you need like a tree that doesn't have any combat speed at all. But yeah. Redeem spores. And 1 advanced, 2 advanced touches. All right, sorry about that. I did not realize what time it was. I needed to get that out of the way. Probably get caught up. All right, so, all right. Colin comes in with a question. What if it's not damage focused and MR testing healing? Colin, every aspect of the game that we have tested healing, it's been trash. So it's really hard to recommend an ant for healing. So my initial response is on day 0, don't get the ant. Day 2, don't get the ant. And then after 2 weeks of data, I may come back and change my mind, but it's too late for the like dolphins and stuff to come up with their ideas. The reason for that is even if a whale, you know, I have a couple of testers that are really genuine and nice to me, that I wouldn't be able to do the data that I do as fast as I do it without them. But even like whales are hesitant to level it up outside of Special Ante because they don't think it's game breaking. And it's hard to test like healing mechanics in PvP again in like duels because it's not as relevant. So you need like a KE and stuff like that, or Lost Island. Okay. But you asked about MR specifically. One sec. I need to remember what the ant does. Yeah, exactly, Igmo. White Velvet. White Velvet's trash. Ruby Slender's trash. Okay, so you're asking about MR based off of abilities, and this is speculation for day 1, day 2, or day 0, day 2, and then after 2 weeks data collection. So reading the abilities, gains 41% defense, gains defense and has X% chance. So like when it start up, 100% chance, 100% chance when it start up of being immune to damage taken in its each round. So you know that as a front row, you know that in a front row, it's always going to have 80%, or it's always going to last longer. So you can speculate the fact that the front row is lasting longer, your DPS in the back row is going to last longer, do more damage at true potential. Therefore, this ant already gets a plus, and then increase it like this alone. The chance to be immune in the first damage taken is already insane. The 50% increased defense before the statement on January 7th already makes it great, if that makes sense. This is just like cherry on top. Even now, like 75% defense increase is good, don't get me wrong, but it's the immune chance that makes it insane. And then up here during the battle, the skill damage dealt by all soldiers shooter squad will be increased by X% from the 4th round, and 3% of damage dealt by backline will be converted to squad's power of our front line. So again, speculation, you have to look at what your special ants are doing, i.e. You are going to have your back row is going to have DPS, so 3% of damage dealt by the back row, highest DPS, highest conversion. Skill 2 already says that it's going to last a lot longer, will be converted to squad's power, basically increasing all of their stats evenly. Squad's power is health, defense, and attack, so it's going to increase all of them evenly, meaning that with being immune on the first hit each round, it'll last a little bit longer on top of everything. So it is a lot of speculation on ants like this. If it's a healing ant, I immediately say no unless the other 2 abilities are insane, and typically they're not. And then it's understanding the meta and where you're going to place ants. So again, front row, being able to be immune, keeping your front row longer already makes it good. Being able to take your damage, increase your front row potential, keep maximum DPS in the back row, already good. So all of this on paper sounds good, and then after 2 weeks you compile enough data. Not for PvP or PvE, Hollow. Why do you regret buying MR, Colin? Shield Warden? What? Shield Warden. I would love to see some battle reports, Shane. I would love to see some battle reports. Yeah, I agree, Prismatic. I'm very confused why Colin regrets buying MR. Prismatic, MR is insane. I don't understand. You run GSS. But his skill 8 only impacts that. Is it just because it allows you to live longer? I don't understand. Shane, good for you. I'm glad it works. I don't understand. I'd love to see a lot of reports. I'd love to see, stats. I'd love to see who you're fighting against. If you're fighting in duels, mines, KE, AE, or LI, because they're all different. All their battles happen differently in some way, shape, or form. So I'd love to see some stats. I'd love to see some data. I would love to see something, because I don't understand. I'm not gonna lie. It's not a formation I would have thought of for Shield Warden. Maybe you found like a hidden secret. That's great, and I'm really happy for you. Not saying you're lying or anything like that. My brain can't wrap around it, and I'd love to see data to be able to show it off. Just like when Blackhawk told me Brown Rogue was insane, I was like, nah, man. And then he showed me an Awakened Brown Rogue with 5-star, same stats, going against other people with same stats. It was good. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Prismatic. Like, this makes it last longer. This makes it last longer. Like, maybe it's just because it's like a long stall. Colin, I kind of wonder if it's the stage you're at in the game, because a shooter march does tend to work. Yeah, I agree, Prismatic. My experience in most of the data I've seen has been the same as what you're talking about, Prismatic. For the most part, I don't have the reviews that Colin is telling me about. Like, MR filled the perfect frontline row for shooters to be able to run shooter. If anything, Colin should be like ecstatic about MR because it fixed the issue of needing to run GSS. I'm so confused. I have two different people blowing my mind right now. Shane and Colin, thank you for making my brain hurt. My head legitimately hurts right now. I'm still rereading this conversation. Sorry for like all the awkward pauses. Thanks, Shane. I'll look at it after stream. No, you're fine, Colin. Your experience is good, valid. I'd like to hear it. I'd love to see some data. I'd love to see, you know, same thing as I'm telling Shane. I believe you. I don't see a reason you'd lie to me. I don't, you know, I could be completely wrong. I don't have Shield Warden leveled up. I don't run Guardian Shooter. I definitely don't have MR. You know, like, you could be 100% correct. It's just contradictory to any data I've ever seen. I would love to see some data. My brain just doesn't comprehend because I've never had this discussion before. Usually when I have discussions that blow my mind, like I did with Robot, they're off stream. I have time to process. Usually got a glass of spicy juice with me, and like I can take time and, you know, breathe, understand, comprehend. Right now I'm just reading these conversations and like feel starstruck. So again, not trying to be rude, not trying to blow it off. Tan, I do not think Shield Warden is good, but Shane is saying that he's had good luck with GSS as Shield Warden in the front at 2-star. All right. My brain hurts. Blue Moon. One last question, if you don't mind. My pro formation is Slim 4-star GT, 5-star Awakened Green RM, 6-star Awakened Purple. Should I advance Slim? Is there a free SA that will do better in the front row? Apparently Shield Warden. My brain. Shield Warden, maybe? Crimson Fragor might work. Not saying that that's the solution, but Crimson Fragor might work. But Shield, Slim Arched is like totally a valid option and totally fine. I don't necessarily recommend 5-starring Slim Arched. I would be hesitant to, because there are other special lands that you should be working on other than just your pro. But if you only care about your pro and you're free to play on the special lands because you don't buy them, just like me for the most part. I bought Ghost Ant and then I realized I couldn't afford to keep up with all the carrier ones and universal ones, so I stopped. You know, then I guess my big answer is maybe. Sorry to be clear as mud. Yeah, Colin, RM Purple Awaken is insane. Yeah, Prismatic, MR, RM, LS is like a solid one, and the reason LS is in the back is because it doesn't really have anything other than DPS, whereas RM has the ability to silence, and RM shines at 5-star Purple Awaken. Explain a bit more of crit rate. How does it actually work? Crit rate is your chance, your potential to proc more damage, Adam. So if you crit, you have a chance to apply crit damage. We don't know the multipliers, and if I remember correctly, we don't know the base crit rate. Maybe that's somewhere and someone showed me and I forgot. But if I remember correctly, we don't have like a base crit rate anymore, so we don't really know. Like, yeah, evolutions increase crit rate of shooters by X%, right? Increase shooter and crit rate by 30%. But does crit rate start off at 0? Does crit rate start off at 50? Does it matter what troop type it starts off at? Questions of the universe I don't have the answer to. Don't have a lot of information on crit rate besides understanding what it does and how it applies damage, but we don't know like what the crit rate increase is, what its base value is, things like that. All right, Shane, I will look at them after live on stream, since we have people talking about it, after I finish answering these, because I need to get through these. My brain can only focus on so much so fast. Prismatic, if that is the case, then there's no reason to run any other troop type than shooter. I'm not saying you're wrong, I just haven't heard anything, but I'm pretty out of touch of the rumor mill, so there's someone in my Discord claiming the next answer butterfly, or next insect's a butterfly, so whatever. I don't have the rumor mill. I stay off the official Discord. People that talk to me in DMs are talking to me about, you know, theory and lineups and things like that. They're not talking to me about rumors. I tend to stay away from those conversations because I make one comment, people screenshot it, take it out of context, and it's not worth the drama. All right. Attack stat for special skill attack, which is better to focus on. Special skill attack. Attack stat is like not significant. There's very little things that level up special skill attack. And same for all of them. Skill defense. Skill attack, skill defense. There's not anything that says special ant, increase special ant. Way better. They have better range. They have better abilities overall, etc., etc. The attack stat is like at 1200, 1300, 1400. I think there's some that are even higher than that are like megalodons. Like the special ant skill is still very low. It still adds up a lot better and it improves overall. Most important thing to look at on a report is probably the stats. Like it can be really discouraging to look at a battle report, look at 10 battle reports, 20 battle reports, doesn't matter. It can be really discouraging to look at battle reports and have like 1 million lost battles and only like 10 victories. But if you look at the stats and like, you know, they're 1.3 your size, 1.4 your size, 1.7 your size, and those are the ones you're losing, then you can take that into consideration and hopefully better yourself. Like if the stats are close, then the next thing I'd look at is skill activations, because if you just had like a bad RNG, it could be that, or they could have a bunch of silences. But for me, the first thing I look at is stats. If the stats are like even line, that impacts me a lot more. That is true, Colin. Yeah. Okay. That is true, Colin. But most things don't improve special ant defense. So when I can get something that improves special ant defense, or regular defense, I'm more likely to get the thing that improves special ant defense and make up for the things that I lost by not getting that some other way, via genetics or mutation reform or and all of those things. It's going to be easier to make it up in a different way than it is to miss out on something that includes special ant defense. If that makes sense. Yeah, Colin. I like if they were both available at all times. If they were both available at all times, I would probably look more into it and figure out which one was better to invest into. But because they're not all available all the time, it's hard to recommend something that isn't. It's hard to take something that you can buy every day and say that that's just as good or better than something you can only get something. Right, Colin. Special ant attack, defense, crit rate, crit resist. Those are all harder to get, rarer to get, can't get in as many mutations, things like that. Like, people are like, what's the most important genetic to focus on? It's fungus. Because you can get special ant skill attack, special ant skill defense. You can't get that in any other genetic. You can't get that in literally anywhere else. For special ant defense, that comes off the top of my dome besides like skins, right? So it's hard for me to say, oh, don't do that, right? Because like if you spend evenly on every genetic, then your fungus, your number one thing should be your special. It should be this one. It only increases from that. Which, ignore this. I'm an idiot. But like I'm fixing it. But like it's just so hard to recommend anywhere else. Hey, what's up, Alex? Or Alejandro? Oh, you're not wrong, Colin. So for special ant insects talents, I was honestly going off of a talent tree that another Nerd Herd member that no longer plays the game, great person, had sent me, and looking into them more, understanding them more, that I've been doing this last week. My mind has been blown on where I should have gone. Like I shouldn't have invested into this tree at all. Where the skills should go, things like that, because there are abilities, there are stats that you can't get anywhere else that are way better than something like in the basic tree. So I do not disagree with you, Colin. Yeah, of course, Colin. I love this type of thing. I appreciate talking more about battle reports, theories of insect talent tree that I don't know very well yet, that I'm learning, right? I have like 4 pages of notes sitting on my desk, like regular notebook size pages of notes sitting on my desk. To be able to answer all these questions better and to be able to put out a video. I enjoy doing that a lot more than I do, say, a formation, where I do that every day. So answering all these questions is cool. I like making my brain hurt, and I like people coming up with conversations like Shane and SM and you and MR. Those things are good. It's the same reason I like talking to Robot. His theories are vastly different than mine, or his theory crafting is a different approach to the game than I would have ever taken, but it's improved me, right? It was like a month ago and it's changed my opinion on things and how the game mechanics work, and it's made me reevaluate some data and see a different line, right? A different way that you could evaluate the data to be able to bring a better input to the community. So it's always good to talk about this stuff. And doing it on a live instead of on a video is much better because you get like conversations going and you get to answer and stuff like that. Anyways, I'm really good at rambling in case you weren't aware. All right. Only 8 skill activations. Thanks, Prismatic. I get a lot of DMs and comments in Discord about how my rambling is unattractive, so glad to be complimented on it. It's one of the reasons people don't like rewatching lives. So this ability clearly works on troops, even not Guardian. So that's interesting. It's healing shooters back here. So it kept their back row basically fully alive. So not only was it keeping the front row alive, it kept DPS for Crimson Trigger all the way full. Thanks, Skye. Okay, I'm gonna look at a different battle report now that I've looked at the opponent. Automatically seeing an 8-star, doesn't matter what the special line is, seeing an 8-star versus a 9-star or 10-star means that it, not trying to invalidate it, I learned something interesting. I would have thought because it says leading guardian units and because it says I would have thought it only applied to the front row, so that's interesting. That a troop specific can heal shooters, interesting to me. But it doesn't explicitly say guardians, so that's a good point. But insects aren't real. If you haven't watched some of my videos, insects aren't real until they're 9-star. 8-star and below, the insect isn't real. If you're free to play, before you kill me, if you're free to play, insects become real at 6-star. Don't kill me. We're talking about like a pay to win player, right? Godzilla versus Hornet. Then it has to be 9-star. If you're free to play, 6-star should be your first goal, right? A 6-star, then work on a 9-star. But you know, at this level, it's not real until it's a 9-star. All right, so this is a 10-star, so let's look at this one. I like that, even the levels match. And purple helpers. Couldn't have been better, Shane. Both skill activations. Shane, did this battle last all 8 rounds? I assume so, but it's cut off. Yeah, exactly, Prismatic. The jump to 9-star is insane. But luckily, with Lost Island, it's way easier for free-to-play to get 9-star orange insects. You get a 6-star every 2.5 months at least. Can you just make sure that this lasted all 8 rounds? I assume it did. I assume it did. 7 rounds. 7 rounds. Dan, there's no big jump. So, real quick, we'll come back to this because this is interesting to me. I like looking at this. Yeah, Prismatic. You should walk away from every LI getting a 6-star orange. Between the horses, your weekly buy inside of the store, and your end of season rewards. Your end of season rewards being a 5-star, and then you get like a 2-star here. If you own 1 level 9 and get a 2-star, or if you own more, things like that, you should easily walk away with a 6-star, if not more. All right. Tia, just to go back to insects. If we look at it, it increases carrying damage, right, for this one. But and damage is multiplicative to attack, so that is a boost by 25%, but is not as significant as the boost of being able to unlock special ant skill attack and defense. Because again, troop versus special ant, troop is not nearly as impressive. Troop damage, this is regular troop damage, is not nearly as impressive as special ant. So while the boost is there, is nowhere near as significant as 6-star, which 6-star is combat speed, and 9-star is special ant skill damage and special ant skill defense. So is it important? I guess so, but not nearly as much. Like the notice won't be as significant as you did when you got your first 6, as you did when you got your first 9. If that helps. It wouldn't be something I rush. Thank you, Blue Moon. Have a great day. Is easily prismatic. I would have 3 10-star insects. So if I had all the insects in the world and I could do whatever I wanted, I would have 4 9-star insects, because KE, I would want to be able to send out all 4 marches, and by the time I have 4 9-star insects, I should have 12 built special ants. Then I would want 3 10-star insects for 3v3, and then I'd want 1 11-star insect for, in your case, Hornet, for Groundhog, and if it's universal, like Hornet, for a Panglion. I would do 4 9-stars, 3 10-stars, 1 11-star, and then, I mean, obviously you do more. I'd probably do my 4th 10-star before I did a 2nd 11-star, in all honesty, unless I really cared about 3v3. If I really care about 3v3, then I would make a 2nd 11-star before I did my 4th 10-star. I would definitely make a 4th 10-star before I make a 3rd 11-star. The reason being is that as you enter Lost Island, you don't have a defense. You remove all your troops from garrison, and you allow your opponent to teleport you, like we talked at the beginning of this video. So all 4 marches can be out doing damage, and a 9-star to 10-star boost would be more important to me than the 4-star or the 11-star boost from another one. So it would depend on, you know, at that point you could tell where you'd like the game, if you want to be invading an LI, or if you're in a Lost Island with a bunch of people that don't take LI as serious and you don't want to spend the money there to like carry your alliance or whatever, then I would make a 2nd 11-star before I made a 4th 10-star. Tan, I just answered that question, but I would definitely go for a Wasp 10-star or Whip 10-star. I personally like Whip and Wasp are even in my mind, but Wasp is better for Pangolion, so because it's universal. I wouldn't worry so much about your 4th insect right now, Prismatic, because by the time you're on that point, I don't know your budget, I haven't looked at it, anything like that, but by the time you're at your 4th insect question, there may be another insect out that is more appealing than anything else. And like, you can work up other insects, but yeah, that would be my order of how I would do all of it. Hopefully that helps. Okay. Very true, Prismatic. It would be cool to see literally anything that could do anything against Wasp. Like, Wasp is de facto the best insect for shooter and guardian, and is arguably, like, arguable on whether or not it's whip or Wasp. And the second you say Wasp is universal, it gets very hard to argue for whip. But again, whip's poison is just so nutty. And the fact that whip can be supported by Emperor, so you have poison and you can have poison and you can have immunity in the same march, makes it so hard to argue against. Like, that's why it gets so difficult to have that conversation of like Wasp versus whip, because Wasp support is Petatamine, and Petatamine boosts garrison defense, if I remember. Not Wasp. Oh no, defense of frontline and attack of backline. Like, not, it's not as significant as immunity. And it's, if I remember correctly, it is not special ant, it's regular. Like, Emperor Scorpion's adding in 20% chance of resist. It's so hard to argue against Wasp versus whip versus Scorpion. So hard. So hard. Okay, back to these battle reports. Focus. Sorry. I am all over the place talking about all sorts of things. I apologize if I'm frustrating anyone. Bless me. Sorry about that. Their Slim March got off one skill. This battle lasted 7 rounds. Their Slim March got off one skill. Their Giant Tooth put in work. Like, you crumpled their front line instantly. Their Giant Tooth got off 6 and your Crimson Trigger got off 10. For theirs. Like, this is nuts. Even in a 7-round battle. Their troops only killed 3,000 people. Shane, if you could send me more battle reports as you get them, I'd love to see them. It's just, like, yes, it's impressive what I've seen so far. Please don't misconstrue what I'm saying. But, like, the first one was an 8-star, and your GT went insane. Only 9 skill activations, 7 rounds. Slim Marched only got off 1 hit and only did 5,500 damage, like, or 5,500 troop kills, and you healed more than that. So Slim March was basically not there. Look at that HP though. Yeah, 10. Even when they're not equipped. Even when they're not equipped, 10. Or if you use them in duels, Shane. If you use them in like duels, 3v3 duels or anything, where it's just special ants and insects that interact, it does remove combat speed, but I just like to see more interaction, longer, a full 8 rounds. I'm not discrediting it though. Proof's in the pudding. That looks really cool. It's just my first data point on this, so I'd just like to see more. I'd just like to see more. That's it. It's really cool though. One skill, I'm blown away. One skill activation on Slim Arch. Your GT shut that man up. Your GT just said, nah, bro, you're not working today. That's insane. That is insane. Dang. All right, what else, you guys? We have more questions about insects. Check out the next report. Did you send me another? How long did this battle last? Keep cutting off the rounds. Whenever you send me a battle report in the future, I love to see it all. It doesn't have to look pretty. You don't have to edit it pretty. I love to see the entire battle report as if I was scrolling through it myself. Eight rounds. Trying not to expose anyone. You know it's like up here, right? Oh, you cut it off here too. Oh, okay. Crimson Fragger putting in work. $34,000 heal. 8 skill activation. Look at this though, Shane. Look at this. 8 rounds, 1 skill activation on SM. Your GT goes insane. Like, I'm not saying this invalidates your report. I'm not. But like, looking at the Slim Arched 1 skill activation in your SM 1 skill activation, it's, I mean, the heal's impressive. 34,000. Impressive, or like, it's good, I guess. 34,000 isn't like something that would rock my socks, but it's like a third of a row. But your GT is insane. Look at that. 1 skill activation and 0 kills. How is that even possible? So it failed. It had a, let's say it's this one. It had a 40% chance to, it's skill activated. It had a 40% chance to do it. No, it has to activate. So it prepped. So skill activation of prep, and then failed. Like, can we just appreciate that your GT shut it down so hard that it's 1 skill activation? It just got to go into prep phase. It didn't, nothing else happened. That's so nuts. That is so insane, Shane. Look at that HP though. Okay, that's even sadder. Look at this. Their combat speed is 766, right? So they hit before your giant tooth hit, and they failed their skill 2 and skill 5 activation, and then their skill 8 went into prep, and then you shut them up. Oh, let me go back to the screen. Sorry. Like, look at this. Skills used 0, skill kills, or skills used 1. So that means it went into prep. Skill kills 0, and then it never went off again. We know his hit first because combat speed is 766 versus 700. So it went into skill prep, failed skill activation of 2 and failed skill activation of 5, and then went into skill prep, and Shane shut it down for the rest of the battle. I mean, Shane, again, these are some battle reports. some insane battle reports. SM and Shikari Master. Or SA and Shikari Master at 1 skill each. But like, your shield warden got 14 procs off. It lasted 8 rounds. That means it got, and it only has 2 active skills, so it got 6 of 16 skills, right? 8 rounds, each one's 4, or each one has things. It got off looking only at Shikari Master on this one thing. This one doesn't count as a skill activation because it's a passive, right? So you only have 6 or 8 for each, right? That's why I keep asking you if it's 8 rounds, right? Oh, this disables too, making their normal attack though, so they'd still get a skill activation. So of 14 of 16 it activated 14 times, which we can say it's 1 here and 1 here, or even 2 here, right? A, Shikari Master didn't do any damage because Giant Tooth shut it up, and B, it's healing, right? You have 2 stars into it, 12 exotics. It's healing 170% ratio, and it's only healing 36,000, which again is that math? That's like one or a third of 1 squad, right? Like, so is the battle report impressive? Yes. Does it change my mind on Shield Warden? Not really. Just because like the battle reports I've seen are the 3 that you sent me, which is why I'm asking for more, is an 8-star insect, a Slim Arch that didn't go off at all, 1 activation, and a Shikari Master that had 1 activation, 0 damage, so only went into prep phase. So it doesn't show me much of Shield Warden other than it healed for 34,000, and maybe that's only because it only had 34,000 to heal because, you know, one of the DPS didn't do any damage. But 34,000 troop heals when you have 330 is not impressive. That's 10%. I'd love to see some battle reports, Colin. And again, Shane, I'm not discrediting it. I would love to see more, because like maybe one where GT doesn't pop off as much, because that's like the issue, right? For me, is that Giant Tooth is going insane, and it's hard to see the impact of Shield Warden's skill 2 or skill 5 silence having a potential to silence the normal attack. And it's hard to see whether or not, like, the healing's again not looking impressive because it's 10% essentially of a team, right? I want to see more and see a battle report that makes me not just think, wow, GT went nuts. That's all. All right, so we got an exotic fungi, so this is clearly an attack into an anthill. A row of non-enhanced T10s. And the rest are enhanced T10s. Carriers have less attack expected. Defense is basically the same. Special ant attack is slightly favored, but basically the same. Special ant. See, this is why I always say pick up special ant attack and defense. But special ant defense is like 4% off. Health is in the favor of carriers by 50, which should be 100% attack. So attack is higher here in comparison, but carriers hit first. Carriers hit first on all of these. Level 44 wasp versus a level 46 wasp, both 11 stars, both petatamine defenses. Invader lost. Invader is favored. Based off of the stats, the invader's favored. MR with 1 star. Non-enhanced. Not enhanced. Wild. Okay, so they both just got T10s recently. Two skill activations. 6 skill activations. Low hits on both. 8 rounds. 2 and 8. 13 on LS. MR never died in the front. 27,000 still in the front, so MR never died. How is this a loss? I don't want to say your name because you blacked out your name, but the person that sent me this battle report clearly watching my live. Could you send me, or could you DM me how many troops are still alive inside a Shikari Masters row? I don't see how this is a loss. Yeah, it would have to be a defender afterwards. Oh, hey, Pest. I didn't want to say your name. I didn't want to screw anyone over. I don't understand how SM is a lot. So the way that this battle should have been won. Yeah, I don't see how you lost. Sultan, I don't understand how you lost. 27,000. You know, you got 28,000 here. 52,000 here, basically. 28, 52, 80,000. I mean, their SM had to have been like full health for you to lose. Oh no, defenders get the W no matter what in AE. So if their troop has 1 alive, that's how you lost. You get defender benefit. See, this is why every battle report has a different. This is why every battle is different, and it's good to know where the source is from. You shouldn't have lost this. Like, in no world should you have lost this. You should have won. It's because you attacked in AE. Defenders get the victory. Oh no, survive 0. What? How is this a loss? Bruh. What are the rules for AE just ended? Does anyone have the rules? I doubt it. Does anyone have the rules for Alliance Expedition saved on their phone? Does anyone have the rules for Alliance Expedition saved on their phone? You guys see all this? Okay. I doubt it. There's gotta... And there's no one in garrison afterwards, Sultan? You're saying this is the only battle that happened? This one battle is what happened? Nothing afterwards? I need to... I haven't done AE in 8 months now. I need a screenshot. I need the rules of AE PvP. Skye. Sultan, everything in this battle says you should have won. Your stats are better, right? Because your stats are better besides combat speed, so they got to hit first. Sure. They had 0 survive. You had 135,000 survive, so you should have de facto won. Their march is insane. 8-star SM, 8-star Ghost. Not going to deny that. 2-star MF. Their march is insane. Your crab is what? 10-star, 9-star, and theirs is 8 or 9-star. Excuse me. Yeah, I knew it was a direct attack from the toxic fungi. That's why I need the PvP rules for AE. I need the rules for PvP in AE. I want you to know, Sultan, there's nothing in this battle report. X10. I don't know what X10 means. I'm sorry, Sultan. There is nothing in this battle report that says you should have lost. Oh, 10 star. Okay, you have 10 stars crab. They have 9-star crab. Thank you. Sultan, I don't... Like going here, going to the 8. Whoa. And pressing top info. Oh, okay. Why did that not work for me? No, you're fine, Skye. Prismatic showed me what I was looking for. Nothing. Nothing about AE or how attack and defense. I also like a anthill defense and attack is blank, and anthill combat is blank. But nothing about attacking side says you should have lost that Sultan. There's literally nothing there that can justify that saying a loss. You just shouldn't have lost. Like, oh my head. It appears it is, Shane. I thought it was slightly different. I thought AE was slightly different. I thought every game mode was slightly different. But I guess AE was created before they decided to change all the combats. In because they changed it all for everything else. Sultan, you shouldn't have lost. There's literally nothing inside of. There's literally nothing that can convince me that you should have lost. I guess it's just 3 game modes. Sultan, you shouldn't have lost. I can't justify it for you. I have no solace for you. I can just, solace is that the right word? I have no justification for you. Even looking at the battle report, it looked like you should have won before I realized how many defeats. Nothing makes sense for me. None of that makes sense to me. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. If anyone has any ideas, please feel free to share them with the crowd, because I'm at a loss for words. Yeah, absolutely. Everything in this battle report says you should have won. Your stats are better, minus combat speed, so they got to hit first. But your attack stat is over the difference of the HP stat. Your HP brought up by shooters is significantly better. Your insect obviously is better. Like, your skill activations on RM are awful. Sorry about that. I'm sorry. If you end up submitting a ticket, not telling you to, if you end up submitting a ticket on the official Discord or getting in touch with a fairy and they tell you how you lost that, or like get an explanation on what game mechanic caused you to lose that, please share it with me. If you're willing to, or like, I've seen some wonky battle reports before, but I've never seen something like this. Sorry. All right. My mind is kind of blown and ate up right now. Between Shield Warden and MR and that battle report, I'm kind of lost on what to talk about. If anyone has any more questions, I'm happy to answer them. If we want to talk more about battle reports, you want to send me something, happy to talk about them. Otherwise, I'm probably gonna go because I need to look and think. but I'm happy to answer more questions if anyone has anything. No, Egmo. The only thing purple ants are used for are development ants. Other than that, they're used to boost up orange ants. I would never invest into a purple war ant. It's a waste of spores, especially for free-to-play players. Whip Scorpion and CR. You mean CP? There's the way the poison interacts and if NTA does trigger more poison. I've never tried Nimble Tree Ant and Whip together, and Crimson Pearl's skill 2. Crimson Pearl's skill 2 is normal troop attack. That skill oh no, it's regular. Yes, in the same video I realized that it has a chance to release 3 times skill attack. There's still only 1 skill activation. So the way that I had speculated it, and this is, so yes, there was testing. The way that I had speculated it was that this would each time activate the skill attack, so the ability of Whip Scorpion. It doesn't work that way. It's only 1 skill activation, so it only impacts Whip Scorpion the same way as everything else with the poison. So it's the exact same thing. So skill 2 didn't work the way I thought it did in my head until after I read it again, and a viewer, because I was live, talked to me about it, or made me settle down because I was just hyped about a new special ant. So nah, I'm happy to talk Prismatic. My brain is exploding right now, so a question that I have answered before right now is actually a little bit calming, because like I know this answer. Some of the conversations from today I don't. All right, Sultan back with blowing my brains. We have a 4-person matchmaking. A 4-person matchmaking here. And it's because there was no one else close to any power level. I mean, this is kind of crazy because like purple's gonna get half a yellow more than likely, and purple will get all of oh man, I don't remember what color that is. That the teal one? I think that's teal because this is orange and this is brown. So purple will get all of teal. Blue will go up here, but we focused on area 51. That's crazy. That is crazy. Sultan with all the craziness. I'm only sharing what they said. It says like power alliances, so it may not be total power because we saw 14 mil, 8 mil, 8 mil. It could be like the same number of people with T10s and everything else available for that rotation. If they would have waited, they would have gotten a full 8. So they didn't want to pass up people that had signed up. Sultan, I would be very interested in seeing how your Lost Island turns out. Yeah, Sultan, if you just want to give me access to your account that you spent thousands of dollars on, I'd love to make content for the video. But in all seriousness, screenshots of what's going on and like how it goes would be really good for a discussion, at least on a live. Not trying to be rude to you, Prismatic. Sorry, I said the sentence and then I heard it in my head and I was like, oh, that probably wasn't said the best way you should have said it. Good, I'm glad, Prismatic. Does anyone have anything else they want to talk about? All right, you guys, then. Thank you for stopping by. This is one of my longer streams. Thank you for the engaging questions. Hopefully I answered some questions. You guys definitely left me with some. I really appreciate you guys coming in with questions, thoughts, process, anything. It's amazing. Thinking about doing a live tomorrow morning. I don't know if that'd be too soon back to back, but it's been thrown around in my head. So if you hear me live earlier tomorrow, hopefully some of you guys can stop by and talk to me about what's going on. Thank you for constantly asking me questions and bringing that list of questions to the person that brought that list of questions. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It was good. It was a very interesting conversation, and hopefully you guys learned as much as I did this live. Until next time, y'all, you know how we do it when we do it over here, though. You can catch me in the YouTube comments. I try to respond as much as possible, but I do get a limited number of push notifications. You can catch me in the Discord. I've been active all week. If you don't see me active, feel free to tag me. I will get to it. I prefer to answer questions in the Discord itself because other people may have the same questions. But if you feel uncomfortable with that, please feel free to DM me and I will answer it that way. Or worst case scenario, you can catch me on server 260. Till next time, y'all. Stay humble, stay happy, stay hungry. Bye, y'all.